Greetings, Midcoast Ukers. Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new song tutorial. Rather than music theory, today I'd like to talk about an actual song. You might have recognized that one. Those Were the Days. It was a special request by a couple of our members, and I'd like to show it to you today. Whether we end up performing it or not, that's okay. Doesn't matter. It'd be a really nice song to learn, to get familiar with our chords, and just to get familiar with a nice old song from 1969. It was sung by Mary Hopkin. You might remember it. It was, well, I was probably 7 years old or something like that back then, but it was really popular. It was on the radio all the time. It was on TV. I remember it being around quite a bit in those times. And she was on the Beatles record label. The Beatles started their own record label called Apple Records, and Paul McCartney found Mary Hopkin. He found a whole bunch of people. Badfinger was a group, very great group that ended up being pretty big in the 70s too, but they were on the Apple label that the Beatles owned. And so Mary Hopkin sang this song, and it really is based on a Russian folk song, and you can tell from the English lyrics were written in 69 or 68 or 69, but the original Russian folk song, I can't pronounce the name of it, but I can tell you it was about kind of like youthful idealism and romantic, you know, memories of being young and then getting older, and you get married and have kids and have a house and responsibilities, and, you know, talking about good times in a tavern, and, you know, getting into fights and just having that youthful spirit and vigor and just taking life by the tail like that. Great song. So let's dig into it. It's going to be in the key of A minor for our purposes. Mary Hopkin sang it in F sharp minor, which isn't that hard of a key, but you'll run into a lot of bar chords in F sharp minor, so I'll spare you that and I'll show it to you in A minor with 0 bar chords. Alright, so we have that opening part, which is rubato. Rubato meaning it doesn't have a steady beat to it. There is music there, but it's not played with a really defined beat, so you can kind of play it loosely. Starts on an A minor chord in the key of A minor. A minor is home bass. And let me get the lyrics going here so you can relate these to the lyrics. It goes, once upon a time there was a tavern. A little out of my range, but once upon a time there was a tavern, over the A minor chord. Then the next line, where we used to raise a glass or two. That goes to an A chord. Where we used to raise a glass or two goes to D minor. So we had A minor. There was a tavern where we used to raise a glass or two. So A minor to A to D minor. And this can be done with a single strum. I like to use my thumb for these single strums to really draw the chord out like that and get a mellower sound than you get if you hit it with your index fingernail. Alright, so that's the beginning of that, that first verse, that intro. And then the next line, remember how we laughed away the hours and dreamed of all the great things we would do. And that's when they hit you with the chorus, and the whole orchestra and band comes in with a more of a steady beat. And we'll talk about that beat in a second and what strums would be appropriate. So just to review, we were on A minor. Once upon a time there was a tavern. A, where we used to raise a glass or two. Once upon a time there was a tavern. We used to raise a glass or two. Now we have a B chord, which is the only bar chord we're going to need for this song. So B is going to go like this. It is 4, 3, 2, 2. It has a little bit of a bar on the second fret. If you absolutely can't do a B, you could do a B7, and I have an easy B7 for you if you don't like the way that you see in some books and in some song sheets. You could do a B7 like this. 4, 3, 2, 0. A fairly easy chord to do. So B7 would be a perfectly reasonable substitute there. Let's try it out. Let's do a B7 there and see if it works. Once upon a time there was a tavern where we used to raise a glass or two. So B7 is perfectly acceptable. B is a little bit better and a little more faithful to the song, but you can get away with B7. It's not bad. All right, it's at that point that you actually go into the chorus of the song, the familiar chorus. And this has a definite strum to it. It's not all rubato and without a beat. This has a beat. This is where people generally clap along if you have an audience. It kind of is reminiscent of like a tavern song, a drinking kind of song in a Eastern European or Russian tavern or something like that. And this is the part that goes, "Those were the days, my friend, thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. Down, down our life we choose, we'd fight and never end. Dun, 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 away. Lie, die, 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 point it goes back to rubato and she sings a new verse with other lyrics but the same chords. So let's go over that chorus. Those were the days, my friend, we thought they'd never end. That's A minor. Those were the A minor days, my friend, we thought they'd never end is D minor. Sing and dance G7 forever and a day. C, we live the life we choose D minor. We fight and never lose A minor. Down a young E7. Were the days. So far it goes A minor, D minor, G7, C. Now we have D minor, back to A minor. We've got E7. Were the days, A minor. And now, lie, die, 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 die. A minor, D minor, E7, and back to A minor. And then we go all rubato and get into a new verse. When you have a rubato verse, sometimes it's good either to do a single strum and sing da da ba da ba da 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 da, just a single strum like that. Or, you know, another thing you can do is that tremolo strum, kind of like the Russian instrument, the balalaika. That kind of sound. That's really authentic to this style. So you could go da 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 da. So that would be a nice little technique to throw in there if you really wanted it to sound Russian. Get your balalaika strums going there. All right, so it's basically three parts. You have the verse, talking about the tavern and drinking and dancing and all that. And then the "those were the days, my friend" part, that is kind of the chorus. And then just the second half of the chorus is the group sing, where everybody goes la da 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 da. So that's kind of how I would break it down, is those three parts. All right, so the chords are fairly easy. If you cannot do a B chord, do a B7, and that wouldn't be a problem at all. And it's a fairly easy song to play. Just one last word about the strum. I haven't really gotten into that much for the chorus part, but I like to kind of invoke a Russian feel, you know, something you might hear in Russian folk music, and that's why I'm giving it a distinct 2 feel. I'm going 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, very common type of feel that you'll hear in Russian folk music and just all Slavic and Eastern European music too, a 2 feel. Polkas and things like that have that feel. So how do you get that feel? Well, on my A minor chord, what I'm doing, I have a low G, but you can do this with a high G. I'm hitting the strings closest to me, which you hear me talk about all the time. It's very effective in lots of types of music. And then I hit the strings that are further away from me, like that. So a down strum on the closer strings, and a down strum on the further away strings. Maybe 2 or so strings up here, and maybe 2 or 3 strings down there. It doesn't matter, you don't have to do exactly that, but to get this overall effect. Da 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 that totally gives you the right feel for the song. There's a million other ways you could play it, but I'd say that would be probably the most effective. Alright, Mid-Coast Euchres, hope you enjoyed that quick tutorial on a great old song from 1969. And I will make available to you a link down below so you can click on that and see the video of the song and really dig into it and listen to her sing it. And I will also provide a song sheet. I'll put a link down below, and then maybe we'll have our own Mid-Coast Uke song sheet if this is popular enough and enough people jump up and down and say, yeah, let's do this song. Then we'll get John Elberfeld to make up a song sheet for us, and we'll perform this one. We'll do this one. All right, Mid-Coast Ukers, you take care. Bye-bye.